Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining this conversation and the presentation. Go down. Yeah. Uh, I'm the EMEA Digital Delivery Manager for Yondr Group. Yondr Group is a real estate company that we are focusing the data center industry. Our head office is in Amsterdam. Sorry if you cannot see more or less the map. But we have presence as well in London, in Dublin, and then Americas in San Francisco and Singapore in APAC. We are focusing 4 main areas. We are funding, we are designing or helping in the design of the DCs. We also delivering the megabots in the industry, and the main focus for us is we are operating our assets. So that is one of the important things in our strategy, because we need to define properly the information management strategy and roadmap from the delivery on the supply chains for us to operate the assets. For us, the most important thing is answer these 4 questions, and based on these questions, they have to be defined for our strategy. What do I need, or what from Yondr needs in terms of information or asset? Why do I need that information? How do we need that information, and which is our target? As I mentioned, our target is the operation, so we need to define properly all the strategies for the delivery and supply chains on how to deliver that information. My strategy that I'm going to propose today is based in the pyramid of the DIKW, so data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. There are 5 main steps in that pyramid, and that are the foundations for the strategy in the life cycle of the project. We have outputs and inputs from both sides. One is the proper elements in the pyramid, documents or strategies, and the other is the actions that we have to implement in that pyramid. The basement, the first step, that's one of the most important ones. If we fail here, we will fail in the future strategy, which is the specification of the data. What we need here, we need to define our requirements, but not only in the design phase, not only in the construction. We need to define as well in the operations. We need to provide to all the consultants, all the stakeholders, how we want the information, how we need to receive that information, because if that fails, all the next steps will fail when we have to operate our asset. The most important thing in all these requirements and all these documents is that has to be consistent. We cannot request the same thing in 2 different ways in the documents, because then the supplies will fail on how to deliver. I'm going to take the comment that Ryan said. When the clients request information and the contractors don't give us, and the contractor says that we asked this late. So that is the most important thing. When we provide these documents, our requirements to everybody, they will know that at the end of the stage, in the handover, let's go to design, to construction, they know what we have to receive. The second step after that foundation of the data requirements are the workflow and how we extract that information through the life cycle of the project. Not only in the models, as we are always talking, that's a typical workflow of extracting and creating information from the 3D models. We also need information that normally is not provided in the model. So there are a lot of information that has to be aligned with what we provide in a 3D model, but is on the spreadsheets or in reports or in specs. After that life cycle, how we need to extract or how we need to receive that information, open source format. We need COBie as one of the main standards to receive the construction and operations building information exchange. We need IFCs, we need BCFs, and we also need PDFs and spreadsheets. That is the main type of documents that we need to receive the information from the stakeholders. The third step is how we integrate the data. So we have different strategies of information that we receive from COBie, from IFC, from spreadsheet, and we need to integrate that data. How? We need to use the programming languages, and we need to merge and integrate that information in different ways to produce only one direction on how we have to use. We can use the data analytics expressions language, DAX, we can use as well Python language, we can use other different languages, but we need to define how we have to use it and how we can integrate all the information from everybody. The next step after the integration is how we can analyze the data. We are using, well, the clients have to use any business intelligence dashboards. We take the information, we create our rules, we create our directions on how we can select the information correct, check if it's aligning with our standards, check if we can use that information in the future, or we need to go back and say that that is not correct, it's not based on our requirements, and we need to receive again that information. In the pyramid, that is one of the latest. The latest one is a little bit far away in the steps, is how we can show that information in a different way, how we can interoperate this information in the life cycle of the project, and we should use a digital twin. This is an example that I took. So we need to use any software or any digital twin way on how we can use the information, select the asset, and operate and maintain the asset through the life cycle of the project. That is the target that we should align in the 4 questions that I asked before. So this is our target. We need to operate the asset, and we need to have all the information provided by the stakeholders in a appropriate way, that we need to fill these steps in the pyramid, and we can use that in that digital twin way. That is the strategy that we should use from the client side. We need to stipulate the standards, the requirements, and the process, and then our target is just to use that in the operations stage. The strategy is provided, and the second important thing is the roadmap. How we can create that, how we can implement that strategy, how we can use that steps in a proper way that we can get a maturity of information management in the business. I took as an example the McKinsey horizon. McKinsey says that we have three horizons in the roadmap. One is the core business, the strategy foundation for horizon 1. The second is the transition phase, where we can take the units in the first horizon and start to do the transformation. And the third one is the results and the synthesis. I took this example, but I modify a little bit, because from my experience, it's not just a straight line from horizon 1 to horizon 3, and we stay there. I added 2 steps in between the horizons, and the steps are the stages of innovation. So once we finish the horizon 1, we need to stop, think about, and go to the 4 steps. What that means, that we need to rethink if the step 1 is correct, if our research, our development, innovate is fine, is okay. We jump into stage 2. We need to do the proof of concept. We need to really prove that our strategy and our roadmap is already fine and it works. Step 3 is the production. So we need to make a product, that roadmap. We need to show that horizon of the roadmap is a product that we can use in the business. And the 4th one is how we operate that 4 stages. That's the most important thing. If we fail on one of those 4 steps, we need to go back and change how McKinsey shows the 3 horizons, and rethink that we need to go back to the horizon and start again the 4 steps. Why? Because if we are failing in the horizon and we jump into the second one, the roadmap will not work, never. We will fail, and then the strategy will be a chaos, because the 4 steps are not aligned. We didn't create appropriate information. The roadmap is not accordance with our thoughts and our strategy, and we arrive to the horizon 3, and the roadmap will fail against the business. So that is my presentation today. I wanted to explain a little bit how, from the client side, wants to provide a strategy in the information management and create a roadmap for the future in the business. Thank you.